Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Monday Morning Art Talk. I'm Steven Silver, character designer and teacher, dedicated to helping you learn about the art industry and living up to your potential. Whippy! Alright, so today I wanted to talk to you guys, and I may have done a talk about this at some point, but rejection, because it's something that we all gonna go through and face. And I think what sparked me almost about this is it's not a rejection that I sort of went through, but it's a rejection in a concept of an idea. So basically this is what happened, where I feel there's a sense of rejection, but it's part of it. You know, it's always frustrating, right? It never gets any easier. You want everything to be accepted that you do. Some things you do, it's a ranger back there. Sometimes you do things that you're really proud of and you put forward and you don't get a response. And that's kind of like what this is about too, but I'll get a little bit deeper into it. And the rejection that just happened to me recently, and again, you can call it a rejection or not, I just want to say that, was I was working on something for, a company, and I was really proud of it. You work on those things that you're drawing and you're working on and you're getting all excited about it, and you think, man, this is going to be awesome. They're going to dig this. They're going to love this. And then you submit it to them, and the first time around, I submitted and I got some notes. Oh, actually we've changed our mind. Can you take out this character and use this character instead? And by the way, these are things you charge for, right? I'm not, yeah, sure, but it's going to be a charge because it's a whole new character. So now I'm just, doing that, and I'm not really getting a lot of feedback from the creators. I'm kind of working with the production, person, but the creators are on the email, so they're getting it too. Then you do another step, took another step, and then I do my final thing, and I was real happy with it. I did these 7 characters, I did a lineup, I put it there. And then you just kind of don't get any reaction or response from the people you're doing this development for, which you're just kind of like, yeah, that's kind of odd. Or or in my mind, I go, that's not cool. That's kind of disrespectful. That's how I feel about it. I'm going to be honest. I feel like it's disrespectful. And then you do the work, and I turned it in, and so, oh, great. Thanks for the stuff. And that's it, an email. It's just like, to me, this is where it just comes down to common courtesy. It's common courtesy, and this is why I think a lot of times that it's the artist, the sort of, just an artist, you're not really that important. You're not really that much of the process. We're the creators. I remember when I was working on on the Cleveland show, at the Fox Animation. And it was always all about the writers. These writers thought they were God's gift to everything. It's this mentality, It's just kind of like the artists are just kind of like, just kind of off to the side. The writers were getting all these, every time they had a meeting, they always had feasts of food, and there was always the scraps left over for the artists. It was almost like, it was so, we're the artists, man. Come on, people, you know what I'm saying. You understand. It's just like, we're this, yeah, writing is a creation too, but the fact that the writers separate themselves from the creators is foolish of them, in my opinion. And it's the writers who are inclusive with the artists, are not only do they get the respect of the artists, but magic happens because there's a connection, there's a correspondence. You're corresponding with each other. You're on the same, wavelength. And when I was working, I remember on Danny Phantom, when I was working on that, and I know the writers were awesome on that show, and I go and talk to the writers. There was Scott Fellows, and there was Steve Marmel, and these guys, you go, hey, I got a question, and they were just they were part of it, and it was awesome, and it was beautiful. And then you get the people who are high and mighty, because maybe their paycheck's bigger. And honestly, that's what it comes down to sometimes. And I just think there's a disrespect there. When you hire someone to do work, I'm always grateful for that. But, you know, just a little courtesy, just like, hey man, or even just some feedback. Hey, we really liked what you're doing on this. We'd love if you could address this, or this is heading in the right direction. It's not that I need praise. I don't need a pat on the back and all these things. It just comes down to, hey, that's heading in the right direction. You know, it'd be awesome to see this. Hey, thanks for the work that you put into this at the end of the day. And then it just becomes crickets, you know. It's just like, you don't hear anything. And I just think that that's a form of rejection to me. I look at it like, it's just that it's not, I don't know. I think people can do better. So maybe if there's any writers that listen to this, or any people who are directors, or any people in a higher position, just remember all the little people. Just remember all the people down below. You know, it goes a long way. It really does. So maybe some way that you can change your ways. And then I just want to talk about really just rejection, because I was talking to just a friend yesterday about a friend he was talking to who had a project that he was gonna work on with this company, and he felt he got rejected because they decided not to go through with it. And he felt it was a rejection on him and his ability and his talent. And it really isn't. And this is the reality. And this is what happens in this industry. And for all you guys who are want to get industry or getting in the industry, it's just that you need to know that people are going to contact you. The mere fact that he was contacted in the first place because they loved his stuff, right? And they wanted him to do stuff. But people get cold feet. People all of a sudden, they got, oh my God, it's going to cost a few $1,000s. Maybe we need to rethink our situation. Maybe we need to go in a different direction. So there's 50 billion little things that can be happening in that scenario that you always got to keep in mind. So you're going to get contacted, and then people aren't going to contact you anymore. It's just going to kind of be like, hey, we decided not to go forward anymore. It's not, you can't look at it as a rejection on you. And even if you do, those are the big things you got to get over, because those things have happened. I mean, I can't even count how many times it's happened to me, you know, really, and friends of mine and everything else, where you think a job's coming and it doesn't fall through, and it doesn't go through, and it doesn't happen. And that happens, and you can't control everything, and it just becomes like, hey, we got something that we're going to be working on, right? So they get in contact with you initial, we got something we're going to be working on, just want to see if you're available. And yeah, you get excited, and then you don't hear back, and then you realize, it fell through, or it didn't go on. Listen, that happens, and I totally accept it, and I get that. I was been asked by, I'm not mentioning it, won't mention any names, but recently a big feature animation studio to do some work. And they were in contact me, spoke with them, everything, and nothing happened. It just has disappeared and vanished. And it's like, I don't hold a grudge. I'm not upset. It's like, I know how this works. And, you know, and honestly, the same thing happens. Like, there's people that I think things are going to happen for other jobs that I can't do. And I'm working with other people, and I try to put artists in contact, or say, hey, there might be a job coming down the way. Are you available? And then nothing happens. And then, you know, but I don't want to say nothing happens, because I am never quick to jump to say, hey, it's not happening. It's the same thing with this, say, this company, you know, this feature studio. The reality is sometimes that happen, and 6 months down the road, hey man, so sorry. Just want to get back to you and let you know that we're not going to do it now. Otherwise, we're ready to pull. Now we're going to act on it. So it can still happen. So things happen, you know. So, but again, it's not, you can't look at it like this giant rejection. And I may have said it in another art talk, but we have a friend of the family who's an actor, and he is a successful actor. He goes to all these auditions, does things, and he says, he was telling my daughter at the time when she was younger and she wanted to be an actress, he said, listen, you got to understand, you're going to go to many casting calls, and you're going to go in there, and they're going to reject you from the get-go. The minute you walk in, they're going to say, you know, sorry, it's not working. You've said one sentence or one word, it's not about you. And that's what you say. It's not about you. It's not that you're a horrible actor. They don't know you. You're going on a casting call. They don't truly know you yet or what you're capable of. It's just they have a different vision in their mind. They have a different idea of how it should go and how tall you should be or what your look should be and maybe your features on your face, what they are. There's so many scenarios, and that's the reality with your art. But what I want to do in this art talk, what I wanted to do really is just prepare you that you're gonna get rejected, that you're gonna get excited about projects that just aren't gonna go through and just gonna happen. Does that mean that you quit and you finish and your whole career is over? No. It means this was one job that didn't happen, and then there may be another job, and like I said, I've had hundreds that, you know, they go right, but then you get the ones that do go through, and those are the ones that are fulfilling and the ones that work out and they were meant to be, and you got paid and you were happy, or maybe you got paid and you weren't happy. Maybe you did the job and you didn't get paid. You know, something happened. You made a mistake. You weren't the wrong client, wrong situation. So there's a lot of scenarios, but I think the most important thing is, number one is for anyone, just it's courtesy where you can, especially when you've done work for people, just to let them know. I just, you know, it's a respect thing. I don't know, maybe old school, maybe old traditions, whatever it is. I just think it's like saying thank you. It's like, have you ever opened a door for someone and they just walk through the door and they don't say thank you? That is a huge pet peeve of mine. I tell you, I don't get angry. I'm not bitter. I'm not going to go, I don't do any of that. That's a waste of energy and time. But that little moment goes, wow, just wow. Really? I opened the door for you and you couldn't even say thank you, that you didn't even have to open the door and get all the bacteria on the door, on your hands from the germs. I saved you all that bacteria and washing of your hands, you know, hey, my pleasure. And speaking of, any of you guys out there who go to the bathroom and don't wash your hands when you take a piss or come out of the stall, stop. Wash your hands every time you go to the bathroom, please. It's another reason I take paper towel every time I leave a bathroom, because I see these people walk out of the bathroom without washing their hands and touching the door. Come on. You've just been touching, you know what I'm saying. I don't know where I was going with that. So anyway, that's it. It was just about rejection. Just be prepared for it. It's not gonna be this whole reflection on you. Yes, you're going to do work for people that they really might not like at all, and you're going to get rejected and they're just not going to want to work with you at all. This is why you want to make sure whenever you're doing work for people and they contact you out of the blue and you've never worked with them before, number one, always research these people. The minute anyone contacts you, they discovered you on LinkedIn or Facebook or, you know, Craigslist, I don't care. Whatever it is, you research them. You find out if these people are legit or what they want. Again, I've gone through that people and I research them and I find they're a little shady, or I read something about them and I learn I'm not even going to contact them back. This person's a shyster, you know, this person's trying to pull wool over my eyes or something. Otherwise, you get people who make all these promises and just, you know, let's see some of your work, do some of this, and we'll move forward from there. No, once you pay me, then we can start talking, but try to get that payment up front before you're sending the work to the client. Again, when you're working with major studios, different situation, but when you're working with smaller people, smaller productions, people you're not familiar with, you know, everyday Joes and Janes, you know, these are the things that you need to just be aware of. And maybe people won't like your work, but it's part of the business. And this way you got to build a thick skin in this industry. It's not for those who are sensitive. You know, if you're very sensitive and you get hurt and your feelings get hurt because someone didn't like your drawing, or you can't handle rejection when you're working with an art director and they tell you go back to the drawing board, you know, you can get frustrated. You can get upset about it. I do, you know, especially some silly things, you know, shifting an eyeball or doing something, you know, just some ridiculous comments just for people to justify their positions. Sometimes you can get upset, but again, it's just part of the nature of the business. So you got to be strong in that way. And the stronger you are in this, the more you're gonna just always brush everything off your shoulder. And that's what sort of like keeps you going. You're just like, no big deal. Got knocked down, getting back up, so what? I'm going to go into the next thing, go to the next thing, and that's what you want to always maintain and think about, you know, what you're doing. All right? That's it. What do I have to say? All I have to say in closing is that, I'm going to be in San Diego at this convention called ISCA. It's the International Society of Caricature Artists. You got to be a member to partake in the week, but it's a whole week of just drawing and competitions and learning, and I'm going to be doing a couple seminars there, so you can check it out. Go to ISCA, or maybe it's caricature.org is the name of it. Check it out. And then Designicon. Going to Designicon. I'll be there. Definitely stop on by. Definitely not going to CTN. You guys know that. Avoiding that fiasco over there. And then, and that's it. And yeah, just keep drawing, keep having fun, and have a great week. All right? Take care. To subscribe to my mailing list and stay updated on future workshops and events, please go to my contact at silvertoons.com and simply hit join mailing list. Until the next time, make it a great week, and thank you for listening.